Welcome to Perspectives in Mobile, the news podcast from the Mobile Ecosystem Forum. Join us discussing the world of telecommunications, technology, and mobile innovations. From Florence, Riccardo Amati.
Generative AI is set to revolutionize mobile engagement with the launch of new formats for real-time interactive advertising, redefine customer experiences in mobile-first contexts. Welcome to a new episode of my podcast series Perspectives. Today we'll discuss this innovation's impact on telcos, ethical AI practices, and its potential across industries, as well as its role in shaping the future of the mobile ecosystem. We are joined by Marina Petrova, Head of Generative AI at GMS. Marina, thank you for joining.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Marina has more than 20 years of experience working with businesses and consumers in more than 50 countries. She is a frequent speaker on the practical use of AI at conferences around the world. So thank you for your time and for being with us. And we'll go straight ahead with the first question. GMS as a company has a legacy of enabling secure communication for mobile network operators and enterprises. How does generative AI fit into this vision? So I'm asking you about the connection between the company and the generative artificial intelligence.
Sure. I think, first of all, again, thanks for inviting me. And I believe you and I had a conversation exactly a year ago. And at that time, we talked about how generative AI is going to be changing the messaging mobile ecosystem. And here we are 1 year later. So going back to your question, GMS, and everyone knows GMS in the mobile ecosystem space. And GMS was one of the first companies to see the opportunity of what's how AI is going to impact the future. And so a little over a year ago, GMS launched its new position and was AI-driven communication solutions. And basically that means introducing AI into pretty much every single aspect of the company and of the products and of the segments. And AI is so much more than just generative AI, right? So, and AI is not new; it existed not for many years, but there is generative AI, there is conversational AI, there is machine learning, and all of this is now becoming an integral part of what every company, including GMS, now needs to do. Because otherwise, if you don't, you're just behind. I was just on had another conversation a couple of days ago, and we talked about how every company is now sort of becoming a startup company, no matter how many years in the business the company has been. But because of this new technological advancement that is really once in a lifetime, maybe once in a human history, uh, every company needs to change, needs to adapt, and needs to start introducing this technological advancement into what it does. And that's what GMS has done over a year ago.
Let's go into the domain of interactive advertising because that's how your product generative response ads is about, isn't it? Am I correct?
It's absolutely. Yes, and please interrupt me because I can stop talk about this nonstop and I get excited because of all of the opportunities that it has. So historically, advertising has been one way. It is, and advertising has really come a long way from TV and print and billboards and everything. And even with all of the technological advances of this century, programmatic, social shopping, everything, it has always been one way. The product and the innovation that we introduced last year is called generative response ads. And what it does, it allows to turn advertising into a conversation where brands can speak, so people can speak with ads as it is. So they can ask questions about what they see in an ad, what's being advertised, they let's see an ad of a blue sweater, and they ask is instead of clicking and going to a landing page or to a retailer website and searching for the size, for the information, for the materials, right within the ad space, they can say, is it available in green? Is it available in size extra small? What is it made of? Do you ship to country, place, whatever? So the path to conversion shortens significantly. It is a completely different level of engagement because you know what people are asking about, and we're not talking about any privacy issues because it is all anonymized. We're not talking about the watching who that particular person is, but you still get access as a company, as a brand, as advertiser. You get access to a treasure trove of qualitative insights because you really know what people want to know, what they want to engage, and how they want to engage with you.
Is that something similar to an instanting poll? I mean, the old style polls, by the sociologists helping the advertising industry are probably something that is not really interesting anymore. If you can,
That's actually an interesting comparison because exactly. So with the polls, and again, that's another topic that I can talk about. I'm really passionate about it, and I've been talking about this even before I started in the AI space. So everything that is where people are being asked, "What do you think?" or there is there are many things why the answer can not be trusted. A, we people forget. We don't really remember why we made this or that decision. B, there is social desirability bias. We want to seem better than we are in the eyes of the who is interviewing us. And then there are lots of other things why that answer can be, and then sometimes it's just limited to multiple choice options. Whereas in this particular case, it is the people who are there, the users, the consumers who are actually engaging, and they're the ones who are asking what is actually relevant and interesting for them. And that turns the whole qualitative side of the conversation completely upside
is
down.
it taught for the mobile ecosystem, for mobile contexts?
So the first campaign that we launched was done with our partners, with it was a client partner of ours, Brave Connective, which is an ad tech division of Globe in the Philippines, and Globe was the first brand that was advertised. We ran two campaigns by now, and I think that mobile is absolutely a perfect industry for this type of experience from two angles, from actually three possibly, maybe even more. But let's talk about this. The first one is as an advertiser, as a brand. Imagine the number of insights and the number of interactions and the engagement the brand can get through an experience like this. Number two, it works also as a product that mobile operators and companies in the telecommunication space can sell to their enterprise customers, given how every telco company in the world is now looking for new revenue sources, for new monetization opportunities. And with the treasure trove of data that they already have, and with the ad tech ecosystem that they're building, this is just a perfect portfolio product that can go into their portfolio. Um, so these are at least two that can be taken into account, and then this can become as a part of the ecosystem of all of the other telco to techco transformations that these companies are doing.
Mobile ads are often constrained by screen size and the demand for instant engagement. How does this new format leverage AI to overcome these challenges and deliver a better experience for consumers?
We did it mobile first. When we designed it, it was definitely mobile first. So instant responses, yes, that's what makes it what's possible. And we actually have a patent pending for this technology because of how we thought through the product itself and all of the innovation that go into it. So instant responses are powered by what we call the brand AI model. So basically, when we create a banner ad, so what powers it? It is absolutely not a chatbot that is integrated into a banner ad. It is conversational, it is natural language, and it is powered by the brand AI knowledge. So what happens behind the scenes is we create an engine, for a lack of a better word, that knows everything about the product and the brand that is being advertised. And that becomes the knowledge that powers that ad. And then the conversation happens in real time immediately. And it is not, you don't need to click on the, predefined links. It's natural conversation like we are talking now. And people can also ask irrelevant questions, and AI would be smart enough to respond. And when they ask in related questions, it of course sounds in a brand voice, in with the facts and messages that are out there. So that's in terms of the real-time responses. The second one is in terms of the screen. We continue all sorts of experimentation. So the initial one that we built was also like the interaction window is relatively small, so we adapted that design so that it opens on comfortably and conveniently on the screen. I cannot talk about this yet, but I hope to come back to you in a couple of months from now. But we are now launching a similar pilot. It would probably start with a pilot, but we'll go into live campaign quickly with another telco related company. And for them, that's their only way. The screen mobile is their only form that is available. And so that would definitely be optimized for all things mobile.
Okay, even if you can't talk of the next venture, but how do you think that the your product would provide new revenue streams to your partner? What's the main source of new streams, in your opinion, from this venture?
So it is an additional stream. Absolutely, it is a new stream because even if there is already an ecosystem, if a telco company does sell mobile ads one way or another, this is a new format. And because it has this interact built-in real-time brand-specific interactivity, it adds a major value comparing to the traditional ads. Because a traditional ad is you show an ad, you get your average click-through that is X average benchmark throughout the industry. And then you're trying to get those same audiences through other advertising measures and just hope spray and spray that one day spray and pray that one day they will actually end up on your landing page. What we do is we shorten that path significantly, and there is this immediate interaction value that is involved, and that is a premium. That is a premium cost, and if there were, if therefore there is value, and that becomes a new monetization opportunity for the MNOs.
Mhm. Apart from the revenue is a way probably to empower brands to build trust, drive growth. So it's even about, let's say, about trust. That's the main point about AI with another concept, which is ethics. All right, and
Hmm.
how
Hmm.
does GMS ensure that this trust is built through ethical A- AI practices? About security, you were saying that you don't know who you're talking about when you have this instant feedback from the advertising and from the question that the audience receive. But how about the ethical part? About not just security, but ethics.
So secure, and let me address security a little bit more. So security is paramount, and it is number one. And obviously, this that we do not collect for the in this particular product. We do not collect PII, personal identifiable information. It is all anonymized. There is a very strict set of security rules that we have before we launch any AI enabled product. That goes for granted. And actually, using this opportunity of being with you on air right now, I would encourage every MNO and actually every company before they go into any AI related project, before they go into the business case finalization and discussions, they need to start with the security questionnaire first. They need to check the vendor, make sure where the information is stored, where that data goes, where it gets uploaded. And it sort of sounds so obvious, but I have seen so many examples when this doesn't happen. And eh, eh, and it's a wild west now with AI, and everyone claims whatever they want to claim. So it is super important to involve IT, legal, cybersecurity as early as possible in the process, no matter what the product is being launched. It's just my sort of wish list for everyone for 2025. Going back into ethics, ethics is a super important and interesting topic with AI for a couple of reasons. Apart from everything obvious in ethics, regulations is behind. Technology develops so much faster that and regulation cannot yet catch up. If hopefully one day it will, but not yet. So ethics, we have to rely on ethics until the regulation is in place. So we have our own sort of set of ethics that we use and follow. And while they all sound a lot of it like common sense, but of course, we also work closely with our partners and clients to make sure that this is what we follow. A lot of this is then sort of translated, put into that AI engine that I was talking about that powers the brand conversation, and we limit it only to that knowledge so that AI does not make things up, so that AI does not use the information from other sources. It is only limited to what you sort of teach to know, and therefore all of the responses are limited to that. Of course, it is still a new technology. It would be naive to say that, it is perfect. No, it is not, but it is already very good, and the advancement have been very significant. Hallucinations do happen, but they are really, really limited. Usually, when people talk about hallucinations, I would say, in my experience, uh, when someone says it is a hallucination, it is not always the case. It is sometimes that AI does not have the answer to that particular question, and then it makes it up because it's how it is programmed to do. It needs to give you a response, but still hallucinations are possible. I can't give you the exact number, but it is really single digit. Percentage points, and then on the lower end. Otherwise, the goal is to have everything in that brand AI engine and that knowledge that powers the product.
So hallucinations are reducing themselves. At what percentage, if you could quantify, or more or less, Marina?
So I think it's important to talk about how people define hallucinations, because I remember when the AI boom hype, everything just started, and everyone would go to a platform like ChatGPT, which I have intense respect for. I mean, immense respect for. Um, it is what happened earlier is people would go and ask all sorts of questions and would expect that AI would know everything. Whereas at that time, it was not connected to live search, and it was only limited to the data that it was trained on. The way the AI, or at least those early models, the way that it works is, and I'm oversimplifying, it predicts the next best word based on the data that it was trained on. So again, the best next word. And so it chooses as a percentage from the data that it knows. And if there is no knowledge in its own data set and its own knowledge base, it will continue choosing the next best, but it doesn't mean that it would be accurate. And that's why it kept sounding so believable, but it was made up. So, but a lot of people, and I don't blame anyone, it's just, it's all new for all of us. They called it hallucinations, even though that is not a hallucination in a traditional sense. And hallucination as a hallucination, when it actually just gets confused, let's put it this way, and again, I'm oversimplifying the terminology here, it is getting reduced. I cannot give you the exact percentage, but it is much, much less now, because you can put so many guardrails and guidelines and layers of engineering that can go on top of an LLM.
I mean, as a user, I can say the same, without being into the industry. And unfortunately, I get angry with ChatGPT when when he goes near reality, but invents something near, yeah, near the reality.
They have actually advanced significantly. Especially, I don't use the free version. I use the plus version,
Yeah,
but it is getting better by the day.
absolutely.
Uh, and now that they introduced search at the end of 2024, and that it knows when to go and search for things, it is just mind blowing how good it is. And
Yeah,
I don't know if you tried the new features that they just released last week, which is called tasks,
yeah,
where you can. Oh my God, I am
it's
adding so many
amazing.
things.
It's
It's
amazing.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's we are witnessing the future, and it's I think that we are so lucky to live now.
I was impressed with what you were saying before about every company becoming a startup again, even if they have years, of experience in the sector. And I mean, my question is about the potential, right? Well, how do you see? What potential do you see for telcos and digital agencies, even about collaboration in deploying Gen AI ads across consumer segments, about the potential of advertising through this new, let's say, universe of advertising.
I think really the sky's the limit. And I think what's important for everyone, and I think we all humans will go through this moment, just some go through this sooner rather than later, is understanding that the way the world has worked up until now is changing. And it is changing so significantly, but we don't see it immediately. Like we don't see the change happening. But even think like 5 years ago, right? Oh, actually, I don't remember. It wasn't one book that I was reading. It was the In the Singularities Nearer book, which I recommend to everyone.
Mhm.
We can talk about that separately. But so think someone, and it was published in 2023. So the author talks from the perspective of 2023, and they say, okay, so we are not enhanced by the machines yet, but we do have our mobile phones, which are obviously the devices that already empower us so much and augment our knowledge. And it sort of sounds obvious. And then he says, picture that same person from 2023 being 100 years back in time traveling to 1923, having that same knowledge as the 2023 person has, but not having the device and not having all of the knowledge. So I think this is a very good illustration to show how we are so used already to everything that we have, to all of the devices, to all of the knowledge, and we don't always immediately sense and feel the change that is happening with AI, coming back to your question, was the opportunities with the agencies and with telcos, there needs to be this moment when everyone, and especially I keep talking about this all the time, every single person in the company, especially including leadership, needs to go hands on and spend hours and hours and hours playing with different AI tools and understanding what the potential is, of the technology is. Because what I see, and a lot of what I see, is the CEOs and the C-level, and not just CEOs, but C-level people continue working the way they have always worked. And that's fine because they delegate things. They say, okay, why don't you, team or department A, go and figure it out? And then department A comes back and says, with 10 slides or 200 slides, as we know that also happens, saying these are what the opportunities are with graphs and everything. But that does not give that aha moment and the practical knowledge until the person who is making a decision actually experiences it and until that person gets their aha moment. And when they do, that's when things start to change because, as leaders, as drivers of the business and new ideas and new opportunities, that's when it changes. And you can sort of even see it when you look at the global landscape and what's happening where and how companies are changing. You can immediately see where this comes from the top or where it's just blah 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 and let's just talk about this but nothing is really happening. So I think once that moment happens, when the aha moment happens for the leader of the company, then they change their own company and that influences the industry because the competition will start getting in there. And that's also what I mean by that startup mode. So for agencies and sorry, I know I told you I get excited, so please interrupt me if for going back to the agencies and the telco companies, it really depends on where they are in that journey. From what I have been seeing during the last several years, the world has moved from, oh, it's a cool thing to have, and from hype to, oh, we actually need to start doing something about this. Let's actually start doing about, what the group is going to be, what the drive, who is going to drive this, maybe publish a couple of press releases of that we are looking into it, but we haven't really started yet. So that's, I think, the moment is right now. And again, the sky is the limit. Once the aha moment happens, we will see so many amazing breakthroughs, both on the telco side and on the agency side, because we humans are smart and we are creative, and AI augments us for sure.
About industries, Marina, what are the more fertile terrains, like travel, retail, entertainment? What do you see as a I know some about your experience, so I think you're the right person to ask, not just about AI, but but just about this. Yeah.
It's interesting, and I personally learned so much during the last several years from like how different industries adopt. I was thinking that CPG, FMCG, consumer packaged goods, would be the first one driving this, but I was not exactly right because some of them are going really full speed ahead. Others are quite cautious, and I understand I'm not criticizing in any way. I'm just sharing my experience. Travel has been significantly, like, I think travel is probably one of the first industries that adopted this, and for a couple of reasons. One, because travel is always about connection with the visitor, connection with the traveler in a sort of more intimate way than FMCG companies, because FMCG companies, as we discussed, it's broadcast, it's speaking at customer and not with them. Travel is more engaging, see this, go there, book hotel here, and so on. So what we are seeing, and we work with a number of companies in the DMO, destination management and destination marketing organization space, and the adoption rate is amazing, and it's quick and it's easy and everyone gets it. And I think that we will see a lot of adoption in the travel industry continued in the coming months. We will also see how it changes because of what's been happening with search and how people discover. And I don't mean Google, I mean search in general, how people discover experiences and how everything goes from that broadcast large scale funnel to micro engagements and micro experiences. And this is where AI is so critical. And that brand AI engine that knows your brand and business and products and SKUs and every single detail is so critical because you need to be engaging with them with every single touch point. The other, so travel for sure, and I'm so happy that because travel has been hit by the pandemic so significantly, and travel has been going through a lot of years of not so easy times. The other industry is retail, and that's where I really am very much into retail transformation, and I follow what's happening there. Also, because of the experience and because of the clients that we work with, we sort of see what's happening under the hood and how so many things are sort of outdated. And again, not because of that they did something wrong, but because of where technology was and how e-commerce has been growing versus the technology limitations at the time. Now this is changing, and I think we will see a lot of progress. I gave my forecast last year that the major changes will start happening in retail a year ago. They didn't. Uh, Only some, like Amazon, and Amazon will continue obviously driving. Amazon launched in the US conversational experiences powered by AI. And this is something that I thought that they would do like in the summer of I think I was thinking summer 2023. They launched it in February 2024 in the beta mode, and they continue testing it in the US. But it is also visible like where it's all going. I There was just last week there was a huge retail related event in New York City, and I had the opportunity to attend. And I see the key topic being the omni-channel experience, so that retailers can track a customer. I mean, this was possible before, but now it's like a key theme from where the customer is online, where they are in the physical store, how they engage, and so on. So that's the I think the AI is going to play a significant critical role in there. Also, interestingly, we get some requests from the pharmaceutical companies, which I thought would not be happening for some time because of the regulations and how on.
Takes time.
But no, I was wrong. And it's well, they have already been using AI as not as generative AI, but AI and machine learning in everything for years. And if we had more time, we could go into the COVID vaccine and everything, but we don't have time for that. But Emma, as far as I know, according to my knowledge, machine learning and AI was a significant driver in getting to the vaccine so quickly with COVID. Again, oversimplified and
Sure.
along with so many other things. But but CPG is catching up. CPG is now catching up, and they are looking into use cases of how and where. And there are many companies. Some of the best global brands are already launching multiple examples of how they use AI. And I think this year they will start seeing the results.
Marina Petrova, head of generative AI at GMS. Thank you for your insights and for the passion with which you talk about these things. Thank you very much, Marina.
Thank you.
That's all for this episode of Perspectives, the math podcast where experts and industry leaders talk about what they think, see, and expect in the world of technology, telecommunications, and innovative mobile services. Stay tuned. From Riccardo Amati, goodbye and good luck with your work.
Thanks for listening to Perspectives in Mobile. Join us next as we explore telecoms, technology, and mobile innovations. Stay tuned, stay connected, and let's unlock the mobile potential together.